Have you ever felt like you're watching a boxing match between AI models? One week, a new model from Google drops a demo that stuns everyone. The next week, Anthropic fires back with a model that claims to be safer and more articulate. Then, OpenAI unveils its latest masterpiece, and the internet just explodes. We're all glued to this spectacle, debating which model writes better poetry and which one can reason more like a human. But what if I told you we're all watching the wrong fight? The real contest, the one that will truly determine who controls the future of intelligence, isn't happening on the surface. It's happening deep down, in the hidden layers of infrastructure. The race for AI supremacy isn't about the models. It's about who owns the pyramid. Let's start by dissecting the illusion of the AI race. Every day, we're re-bombarded with headlines about GPT-4 versus Gemini or Claude 3 versus Llama 3. We see benchmarks, leaderboards, and viral demos showcasing incredible feats. One model creates a photorealistic video from a single sentence. Another composes a symphony in the style of Mozart. This constant churn of innovation is exciting, but it's also a distraction. It creates the impression that the company with the smartest model today will be the winner tomorrow. But these models are just the tip of the iceberg. They're the visible, flashy part of a much deeper, more complex system. The real power doesn't lie in having the best model for a week or a month. It lies in controlling the entire stack that allows these models to be created, trained, and deployed in the first place. To understand this, we need to look at the AI infrastructure pyramid. At the very top, you have the application layer. This is where most of us interact with AI. Think of ChatGPT, Midjourney, Google Assistant, or the AI features embedded in your favorite software. These applications are the delivery vehicles for AI's value. They solve real-world problems, entertain us, and make us more productive. The competition here is fierce, with countless startups and established companies vying for your attention and subscription dollars. Just below that is the model layer. This is where the magic happens. Here you have the foundation models, like GPT-4, Gemini, and Claude. These are massive neural networks trained on unimaginable amounts of data. Building a state-of-the-art foundation model is a monumental undertaking, often seen as a step towards artificial general intelligence, or AGI. Companies like OpenAI and Google DeepMind are locked in a fierce battle to create the most capable and general-purpose models, believing that whoever gets there first will have a decisive advantage. But where do these models live and train? That brings us to the cloud layer. Giants like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform provide the sprawling digital infrastructure needed to run AI at scale. They offer managed services, storage, and, most importantly, access to massive clusters of powerful computers. They are, in essence, the AI factories of the 21st century. If you want to build a serious AI model, you almost certainly need to rent space in one of these factories. What powers these factories? The compute layer. This is the domain of silicon. At its heart are the GPUs, or graphics processing units, which have proven to be exceptionally good at the parallel calculations required for training AI. One company, NVIDIA, has a near monopoly on this market, making its chips the most sought-after resource in the tech world. The demand is so intense that securing a large supply of NVIDIA's latest GPUs is a primary strategic objective for every major AI player. This bottleneck has also spurred a race to create custom AI chips, or ASICs, with companies like Google designing their own GPUs to gain an edge. Finally, at the very base of the pyramid, we have the capital and energy layer. This is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Training a single cutting-edge AI model can cost hundreds of millions of dollars in compute time, not to mention the salaries of elite researchers. Building the data centers to house these computers costs billions, and powering them requires a staggering amount of electricity, often equivalent to that of a small city. This immense financial and energy cost is the ultimate barrier to entry. It creates a moat so wide and deep that only a handful of the world's wealthiest corporations and nations can even afford to compete at the highest level. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world with a case study. OpenAI. OpenAI's strategy is a masterclass in focus. They put almost all their resources into one thing: building the best models at the top of the pyramid. They don't build their own chips or own massive data centers. Instead, they formed a deep, symbiotic partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft provides the capital and the Azure cloud infrastructure, tens of thousands of GPUs, and in return, gets exclusive access to integrate OpenAI's models into its own products, like Bing and Office 365. This allows OpenAI to move incredibly fast and stay at the cutting edge of model development. The risk, however, is a profound dependency. If that relationship sours, OpenAI could find itself without the foundational compute it needs to survive. Now, contrast this with Google's strategy: complete vertical integration. Google is playing a long game, aiming to control every single layer of the pyramid. At the bottom, they have vast capital and are building their own energy-efficient data centers. In the compute layer, they design their own custom TPU chips, optimized specifically for their AI workloads. In the cloud layer, they have Google Cloud Platform. In the model layer, they have their Gemini family of models. And at the top, they have a massive ecosystem of applications, from search and YouTube to Android and Workspace, all ready to be infused with their AI. This end-to-end control offers incredible advantages in optimization and creates a powerful data flywheel. But it also has drawbacks. It can be slower and less agile than a focused player like OpenAI, and their sheer dominance raises serious antitrust concerns. Of course, OpenAI and Google aren't the only titans in this arena. Let's look at the others. First, you have NVIDIA, the undisputed kingmaker of the compute layer. They don't build models or applications, but they sell the picks and shovels in this gold rush. Their control over the GPU supply gives them immense power to influence the entire industry. Then there's Amazon. As the leader of the cloud layer with Oz, they have been the default infrastructure provider for years. Now, they're aggressively moving up the pyramid, investing billions in model companies like Anthropic and building their own models to compete directly with Google and OpenAI. And you can't forget Meta. With its massive social media empire, Meta has built one of the world's largest private infrastructures. Their strategy is unique. They're championing open-source models like Llama. By giving their powerful models away, they aim to commoditize the model layer, preventing rivals like Google and OpenAI from building a monopolistic moat, while ensuring the whole ecosystem continues to rely on the foundational infrastructure that Meta itself has mastered. This battle isn't just being fought by corporations, it's also a major geopolitical issue. The AI race is a core component of the tech rivalry between the United States and China. Recognizing that compute is the critical choke point, the US government has imposed strict export controls, aiming to prevent China from acquiring the most advanced NVIDIA chips and the equipment needed to manufacture them. This has forced China to accelerate its own domestic chip industry. We're also seeing the rise of sovereign AI, the idea that nations need to build their own independent AI infrastructure to protect their economic competitiveness and national security. Countries like France, the UK, and Saudi Arabia are now pouring billions into securing GPUs and building national AI champions. So, as we look to the future, the question isn't just which AI is smartest. The real question is, who controls the pyramid? The concentration of power in the foundational layers, capital, energy, and compute is creating a new kind of global hierarchy. A handful of companies and countries are building the digital foundations for the future of intelligence. How this power is wielded, whether it will be shared or hoarded, and how we ensure it benefits all of humanity is one of the most important challenges of our time. The next time you see a flashy AI demo, remember to look beneath the surface. The real story isn't just about the magic trick. It's about who owns the stage, the lights, and the entire theater